Welcome to Hands On with me, Christian Schiller. I know some of you were joining me in the pre-show, something I'm starting to trial. You can join me on my extremely quiet, because I haven't really been doing much promotion around it, Discord server, where we have a little bit of a pre-show chat and there's some insights behind the stream. But for now, welcome to my stream. Here's a little bit more about me. I am Christian Schiller. You can find all of my shows at christianschiller.com, wherever you happen to be joining, on Twitch, on YouTube, on, I think those are the main two on Facebook. Yes, and Facebook, of course. If you like what you see, then please leave a review, please leave a comment, please say hi even, and subscribe if you so wish. So, what is the format of the show? Every week on different days, again, you can find the schedule at christianschiller.com. There we go. I look at a technology project that I'm interested in trying out and see what I think of it, see what I can find out, see what I could do with it, see if it lives up to its claims. What is it today? Today I'm looking at HackMD. This is something I've actually wanted to look at for some time. It's quite an interesting project. It's kind of suits my tech writer, tech journalist, documentation writer mindset of groups of people who are into Markdown and plain text formats, but who need a little bit more collaborative functionality, features, sort of in the world of Confluence and Google Docs and things like that. And it attempts to somehow meld the two. So let's jump to a screen share and have a little look. Oops, you can see my script. I need more screens. What does it claim to do? Get everyone on the same page with Markdown. And real-time collaboration here. Project, I mean, it talks a lot about documentation. I have seen other people use it for notes and things like that too, but that's predominantly the use case, I guess, but we'll see. Team collaboration and permissioning. Some of these titles are kind of odd. Transcend beyond time and space is a strong wording, but sharing secrets, Markdown. You can then use Git behind the scenes and use existing tools. There is a VS Code extension, for example. Yes, I will zoom in. Sorry about that. Thanks for the comment. Yeah, if you're joining me in the chat, please say hi. Always nice to know people are here with me. Okay. I've got too many windows going here. You need about 4 screens when you live stream sometimes. There we go. There we are. All right. So let's dive in. The first thing I always like to look at is how do I start? I mean, it's actually quite easy here, so I'll just bring up the project again, hackmd.io. You can probably follow along with me if you so wish. I have signed up before, and then we'll see where we go from there. I've kind of had a mixture of accounts with it. I'm never entirely sure which address to use. Maybe I should use a new one and start fresh. So we have a couple of options here: Twitter, GitHub, Google. I think I'm going to try signing in with GitHub, just for sort of a more interesting pathway. So let's do that. Oh, well, there we go. I have been here before. It would have been nice to have started afresh. Maybe I will undo that and let's sign in with, let's sign in without any account and try and sign in fresh so we can see. I've gone and got myself locked in a cookie black hole. Let's do this in private then. There we go. Okay, so let's sign up from scratch. I don't think I'm going to be able to pick my username because it already exists. Okay. I'll add my, oops, what's going on there? come on, email. And well, I was going to say I'll quickly switch out of stream. Actually, I will. I will quickly switch back and change that password. So don't even try. I'm going to use a different one. Da, da, da. Oh, okay. I've also used that email address before. All right. And back we go to set the password again, because I may forget to delete this account. Okay, good. And I have received a login email. I won't bore you with clicking through my email either, also for other reasons. So let me just go and handle that whilst you're watching. And there we go. So now we can sign in. Well, it was, in case you ever wonder why, my microphone is directly above my keyboard. So sometimes when I want to look at particular keys, it's hard to see. Just hope it's this one. Yes, good. Right, so that is us beginning. Let's see tutorials. So let's open this up in a new window so we can kind of follow along in unison. No, I don't know why you asked me that. So this is also nice to see that I'm pretty sure HackMD is using HackMD for its own documentation, things like that. Okay. And it's interesting with HackMD. I'm never entirely sure what is open source and what isn't. The documentation definitely is. It's sort of one of these projects that's quite popular with open source communities, but I'm not sure if it is actually open source. Let's go down and see. Well, there is no direct link to a GitHub repository. Somewhat hard to see. Actually, this is one of the themes I used it with, so don't know. I'm not sure. It's strange. I think it feels more private, but whether it's open source or not, I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, let's carry on. So, introduction, welcome. I guess that's where we should start. I think that's where we are already. Features, okay. Real-time, multi-platform, collaborative Markdown knowledge base. Of course, learning about collaboration on my own is going to be difficult. I will post a link in the chat and see if anyone wants to join me, or I'll have to then collaborate on my own if not. We'll see how we go there. So the first thing, and it's interesting here because, yeah, it's like making me look at an interface I can't see yet. I'm a bit lost in where to start in this documentation, to be honest with you. Welcome. Said go to the tutorial, but this isn't really a tutorial. I then jump into features and I'm told to go back to the tutorials. So that's a little confusing. I'm not really sure where to start. And I get the feeling I actually saw no. So I don't really know where to start, to be honest with you. Using regular expression to search is not really where I want to start. So, interesting. I mean, I do know where to start because I've used it before, but let's just begin here. The tutorial is not being particularly helpful, but I think we kind of get an idea of where we can begin. So we have a new note from a template, or import a file from GitHub, which is interesting. I'm guessing that means I will have to authenticate with GitHub, maybe. Yeah. All right, well, let's ignore that one for now. Interesting. Oh, hello. Okay. That is something I will have to try. I'll have to log back into myself, but I kind of wanted to go through this first experience first. So let's new note from a template instead. Here we go. There are a lot of weird typos here. I get the feeling this is being heavily translated. So meeting minute, it's actually meeting minutes, for example. So this is the note. Yes, use this template. There we go. All right. So now we can kind of carry on where we were. Edit, only see the editor. So you get a fairly standard Markdown editor here with a couple of extras, things like this. So I think I wrote in the introduction for the video standard Markdown, which isn't strictly true, but there is no such thing either really. So yeah. View, so we just see the rendered end and then the two together, which is kind of the one you would probably use the most. I think this implies we can, no, I'm not sure what that does. But I can do this. Okay. Image upload. Upload an image by clicking the camera button or drag and drop. Share notes. Okay, let's sort of do some basics here then. Let's tags seems to be a specific thing. I guess, does it have to be, it can be anything we like. Can I, although is that actually having any effect? I'm not sure if that's just metadata or if that's actually something meaningful. I'm not sure. We have quotes. I mean, we have emoji support, I guess. Let's, oops. I mean, I can actually, things I can also do it from there. That was my editor doing, my computer doing that. Not actually sure. Oh, there we go. Okay. Memo, where do I start? I thought that might have been some special formatting, but it's just another emoji. Then we have to-dos, which is one of my favorites. Although you always have to get the spacing just right. No, I've busted it. Oh, lowercase, that's right. No? Oh, okay. It's different than GitHub. Okay, interesting. I can also see this very briefly. We saw this create note, no match in history. I'm not quite sure what that is. Creating a note. So that's created a new link. Okay. So I guess we could do something similar. Oof. There. Actually, it's hard to see, but there's a very light highlighting here. I don't know if I can. Yeah, that's the highlighting. It's kind of hard to make out. Oops, sorry. Zoomed out too much. Actually, there we go. I've lost the, there it is. Okay. So I'm not completely sure how or why that was coming up. This is a highlight, which is quite interesting. That's its own custom formatting. We have superscript. I think this is more standard Markdown crossed out. That is highlight is a different one. You can actually create info bubbles and things like that. This actually looks a lot like the ASCII doc, maybe one of those. They're quite different from each other. I'm not sure what these three dots here. It's still in the same info bubble. Okay. I guess if I start to break it, oh, there we go, it just carries on. Yeah. Okay, and I suppose I could probably change this. Oh, there we go. So I'm seeing pop-ups here, which is quite nice. Spoiler. You get a little pop over. This is new. I've not seen this before in HackMD. I've seen it before, but not specifically in HackMD. Okay, error isn't one. Strange. Success, info, danger. There we go. Okay. Drag and drop. I mean, we can try it. I shudder to think what picture I might accidentally pull in here. Hopefully none of these are anything that's not important. In fact, it's kind of bizarrely appropriate. There we go. Invite people to collaborate. Okay. They have a table, GitHub sync browser extension. We'll come back to that in a second. LaTeX for formulas, slide mode, etc., etc. That's all interesting. Most of this formatting bar up here is probably pretty self-explanatory. Let's come over a little bit. We're getting a lot of, there was another tool I looked at on the video on the stream a while back that was, Gitbook, of course, has some similar features. Most of these will be self-explanatory. Is that heading or highlight? That's heading. Code, can we pick code formatting and things like that? Not by default, but maybe if we hover here, we do. Look at that. That's quite nice, actually. And then we have the checklist, links. I think the other thing you can do with links, oh no, see that's pre-added HTTPS, but I think we can also get, let's see. I kind of got the impression you can do those internal links, and now I'm not really sure why we got one with the cross, but not here, which is interesting. Yeah, I know. Images, I guess if we click that, we'll get an uploader, I would hope. Yep. Table, that's always useful. Markdown tables are kind of complicated. Horizontal line. Now the interesting one here, where we get to the collaboration side, which is where things come more into their own, is leave a comment. Now the interesting thing there is, so if we were in the Markdown view, we add it here. So where do we see the comment, interestingly? Where's it gone? I can't even find the step. Interestingly, I don't see the comment though. If we pop over to view, where's the comment? 0 comments. Interesting. I just added one. I don't know if because the Markdown formatting gets, that seems to just be, or, okay, let's try again. Aha. And we can also add, so these comments are kind of weird. Let's have a look at the documentation because I'm not quite sure what I'm adding here. These are kind of comments, but yeah, that's what I'm expecting to see. Let's switch to the visual one and see if we get something, what we kind of more expect. Yeah, like this. Okay, and then if we switch, okay, now I'm not even sure where did I hit the comment. I can't see it. On that title, I don't see it. So what is the difference? Oh, we're seeing it here, but I don't quite understand what these comments are versus those comments. So what's the difference? This is only in the visual one. Don't really know what that comment button does then. Not sure. It's a little unclear there. Yeah. Okay. Not sure. All right. Now let's share this and see where we can go. I don't know. I always have an obsession of clicking on settings. Nothing happening there. Okay. Limited. Everyone can read. Only signed in users. We don't want that. We want to make it public because, yeah. Read everyone. Write everyone. Okay. And you can even change the default view. Yeah, sure. Why not? Publish. So now if we copy this, open a new private window. I can see there's a comment here. Guest Bates, interesting name. Okay. So I think I can even edit. And this is where it gets interesting, actually. This is worth you do start to see some basic kind of track changes. Not quite sure what to call it. Okay, so I've made a change there. I'll go away. I come back. It's actually pretty instantaneous here. I now see the full thread. Interesting. So I can see the changes made by someone else. I think. Thought that was the case. I seem to remember in the past you could see, it could also be browser compatibility and things like that, but be able to see the changes made by somebody else. Yeah. So this is very much like Google Docs, but yeah, I thought you could actually see something edited by somebody else. I mean, yeah. I guess because they weren't signed in, maybe. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Yeah. So that's kind of the basics in the editor here. Let's have a quick look at some of the other share options. Oh, that's what we just looked at. We can publish. And we'll come to the GitHub sync in a minute because I need to sign in for that. You can also export to various other places. Download the Markdown. I mean, some of the Markdown is, of course, not going to be very useful. But let's take a look. There we go. Let's open it up in VS Code. We're actually going to use VS Code a bit more in a minute, but just as a quick example. Yeah, I mean, we see all the basic syntax, but a lot of this is not going to be valid here. But yeah. Oops. Close. Okay. We can also do saving in templates and things like that. HTML raw, HTML ODF for open document. I was wondering about the slideshow one. Create new note from a template. Oops. So we also have a kind of text editor style search box there. What I really wanted was this to try this. This is always the other thing I found with HackMD. How do I get back? I think I just have to click the logo. Yeah, okay. I'd like to try this slideshow one. How to create a slide deck. Let's see. Oh, 3 lines. Okay. So this is also using syntax that's slightly familiar from things like reveal.js and stuff like that. Okay, so let's do a talk slide. Yeah. Document, I'm also wondering. And then choose slide mode from the mode drop down. Slightly confusing. Sentence there. So how do I get it? Not quite sure. Don't exactly know how I see that. Slide mode, but that's just a view. From the mode drop down. Oh, in the, okay. I think the yeah, okay, so it is in the sharing. Okay, yeah, I thought it also meant I could look up here, but okay. Publish. So I guess we have to go that way, which is slightly annoying, but fine. Let's see. And I guess we use arrow keys. Yeah, this is, I'm pretty sure this is reveal.js, actually. And this book mode, very quickly, let's see what that means. I guess it's a little bit like getBook, maybe. So again, it's sort of special formatting here. Yeah, and you, oh, I see. So you basically link to, okay. Let's maybe go for one of those templates and just see how that looks. And then we're going to jump into GitHub and VS Code. So new note from a template, document book. I do apologize, there's a lot of background noise where I am today. Yep. Can't always control these things. Be not too distracting. So, and then we do the publish again, I suppose. I wonder if this is really particularly different from a normal. Just document, really, but let's see. Or a table of contents, effectively. Oh, okay. So we get, so this is basically their documentation. So that's interesting, actually. Okay. And we also do have, that's quite nice. And that's actually quite cool. I think this is the thing with HackMD, and they did say this very beginning of their documentation. Sometimes a lot of the really cool features are kind of hidden. All right, let's now switch into some of the bigger collaboration. The basic collaboration is there. It depends on your use case, whether you're going to find it powerful enough, I think. But let's just switch back. I'm just going to, you can say hello to me again. I will just remind everyone whilst I'm just setting some things up. We're looking, well, I am looking, we are, yep. HackMD. I'm just going to switch accounts so I can kind of have more access to some of my other accounts and look at some of the other options that are here. Okay. Yes, I am now logged in as me. All right, so you can see these are things, I actually use these for sharing some work with clients and things like that. Let's then take a look at GitHub. I wonder what the best way to do this is. Let's have a look. How to sync. Oh, this is actually interesting. Before we go to GitHub, because it version control, says every 10 minutes, so you can compare versions. And I'm guessing depending on your payout plan is probably how long it keeps versions for. But it's also quite useful, actually. Okay, so let's do this GitHub thing. Sync a note. All right, let's just jump. I don't know. Actually, let's just go for a new note. Actually, I can even pull in my. This is Markdown of a sort. Pull in the vague script here. It's actually from a previous show, but you get the point. And Versions panel. Versions panel? Don't see a versions panel. Also, this is probably slightly hard to see, but one other interesting thing with HackMD, which really shows you its roots, and I'm trying to figure out how to show this to you without having all sorts of things pop around, is right down here. You actually have kind of a pseudo editor here. So the ability to change key bindings, I guess, the line break types, spaces, and some other settings as well, actually, interestingly. And theme, I guess? Yeah, theme. That's also kind of interesting. Something that's kind of easy to miss, actually. All right, so I don't see that, I guess, because it's, yeah, needs to be empty. There we go. So let's push to GitHub, I think. Choose which file to push. Which repo. Looks like I need to probably reauthorize. Yeah, this is all just one organization from some time ago. Yeah, that'll do. And we'll just go for selected. Let's go for my website. Actually, maybe that's not a good case. This one, actually, this is good. This is basically a bunch of Markdown. And this is my fork of it. So I think that's a good one. All right. Okay. Let's maybe just refresh this. Probably best. And we'll pull from GitHub then, select the repo, this one. Yep, sure, select a file. Yeah, why not? Sure. There are no changes. Oh, that's interesting though, if there had been changes there. Push further changes to GitHub in versions. Okay, I don't know why I want to do that, but the line breaks, nothing's really telling me why I'd want to do that. Yeah, here we go. Okay, fair enough, we can find out more. After you link the note target, we'll find the versions panel. I still don't see a versions panel. Where is this versions panel? Ah, in the menu, right, okay. Well, let's actually make a change. Let's see. Let's get rid of the Oxford comma. I don't know why, but just a small change. So we should see something. I don't. Thought I was expecting to see the change, maybe. Save as a version, I guess. Sure. It's kind of like a commit, I suppose. I was expecting to maybe see the change, but I don't. Slightly confused as to what I'm looking at here. Let's make another change. All right, pledges, I don't know. Let's make the wrong heading level. Why not? Let's make a new version. Okay. Slightly kind of hidden, not very obvious there. Still, I don't see the, I was expecting to see the changes here, which is, yeah. Oh, now I do. Okay, well that was, oh, okay, now I do. All right, fine, okay. Add a badge is intriguing. Collaborate, oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay. And I assume if we go to that repository, we will see that's the repository, but I thought it was my fork, which is odd. Why am I not seeing that fork? Hey? Okay, that's confusing. I thought that already was my fork. It's odd. If I can find the... it's a different repository. Made my assumptions about the repository I was looking for. Okay. This one. Yeah, it is archive. But I don't see any changes. I was kind of expecting to see the changes. I think we now have to push. Right, that would make sense. Select a branch. It would be nice to be able to make a branch from here, but it's fine. It's an archived repository, I don't really mind. Oh. Silly me. Okay. Well, we get the idea anyway. Yeah. Oh dear. And what else we got here? Delete, things like that. Yep. Okay, cool. I think we get the idea there. I think that's the main things we can do there. The other publishing with a permalink, I think that's, and you can set the view mode and things like that, so you get some very basic kind of hosting, basically. Tagging. Yeah, so ability to organize things. And through YAML metadata here, that's better actually. I wonder if they have any other YAML metadata that could be useful. Let's see. Title, description, tags, images, robots. Yeah. Okay, so interesting stuff. Google Analytics, interesting. Discuss, that's actually quite interesting. Okay, now let's jump into some of the other collaboration things, because that is where things potentially get a bit more interesting. The browser extension was one I did look at in the past. I can't quite remember. Yes. So it actually adds a bunch of JavaScript, of course, to be able to post notes immediately. I can't remember if I installed it or kept it on my Brave. No, I took it out. But yeah, you can kind of see what's possible here. And then the ability to just add that to when you go to GitHub and things like that. It's pretty straightforward. Real time, yeah, here, this sort of thing. I remember using this a couple of times, actually. It's something I'd probably use more. Now it's kind of there. All right, let's look at this VS Code extension. That's kind of where things get different too. Although it's odd, I'm not seeing any mention of it here, which is strange. I saw it somewhere else, but now, and that's interesting to see, jumping around a bit here, sorry, but you actually have a lot of other tools you can add in here. So, and this is again what I'm saying with HackMD, there's a lot of quite cool stuff like this CS preview, that's super useful, but it's very buried in the documentation. External embeds, gists, SlideShare, PDFs, Figma, yeah, MathJax, UML, flowcharts. This is, wow. But this is interesting though, because this is really cool, but it's not telling me how to do it. Graph is Mermaid. That is super useful. I did a stream on Mermaid some time back. Often the problem with Mermaid was having a tool that rendered it, and this is actually very useful that it's there. There's actually a lot here. fretboard. Wow, there's some stuff here I did not even know existed. This is super cool, actually. This is starting to make me quite a lot more interested. But I think where I'm now going to get more interested is the ability to now use my text editor instead of the web browser for various reasons. So it's strange that I'm sure I saw it mentioned here somewhere and now cannot see it anywhere, but let's do a search. No, weird, okay. Where was it mentioned? Odd. I know it exists and I saw it somewhere. Yeah, this basically. VS Code extension, right. Kind of want to see what's possible, just to give you an overview before we install it. So, preview notes, create notes from editor context, and the renderer, which is pretty useful. So let's switch into VS Code. Where is it? There it is. I'll zoom in a bit. The best way to do this. I do have it enabled here actually from memory. Yep, there it is. So log in first. I've got already logged in. Please log out. Okay, why do I need to log in then? Weird. Which account have I logged into? Hope it's the right one. Yes, this looks like the right one. Okay. Interesting, it doesn't seem to have this file that we just saved here. Let's see. Maybe a refresh. Oh, there it is. I'm obviously going mad. So let's have a look. Open. Strange. Oh, there we go. Is there any documentation we can follow quickly, just to kind of give us an idea of what to look for? Not really. Mostly just a list of features. So having all this built in would be super useful. Let's see. What do these buttons do? Open it on HackMD, preview, and preview to the side. That's kind of what we want. Okay. Hello. Strange. All right. Guessing there's also, yeah. Open preview. Let's try again. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay. I wouldn't mind the side preview though. Let's try that again. There we go. That's better. So, what would be interesting here is to throw in some of these extra features and see what is really possible here, because that would be super cool. I wonder if we can pull it in from a template just to get some syntax, not wanting to. Yeah, here we go. Like this one, for example, would be good. We'll just take the markup. So normally, if we were to use this in a normal VS Code file, let's see, save it. Pop that in the workspace. Yeah, I've got a lot going on my machine today, which is why things are a bit sluggish. So if I was to preview this in normal Markdown, preview in VS Code, a lot of this would not work. Oh, okay. Unless it's added itself. That's interesting. Huh. That's odd. That's unexpected. Maybe it adds itself. Let's just try that as an experiment, because that's not what I was expecting. Okay, let's disable the extension temporarily. So reload. Okay, maybe it amends the the preview editor, which is interesting and semi-useful. All right, so we have. Okay, I'm getting a bit confused here. Okay, I think this is from another extension, so don't get too excited there. Open a locked preview. Yeah, okay. So some of it's working, some of it isn't. Okay, good. And so maybe it adds itself by default. I wasn't actually aware of that. It's been kind of been rocking it the whole time without even realizing, which is interesting. But maybe to the ability to toggle it on and off could be useful. So let's open that preview now. We should see a lot of. Please open a note. I do have a note. Open. Well, that's a bit odd. I think what happened there is, so this is not a HackMD note, basically. But it still seemed to render it a minute ago. This is where things get a little confused. Let's open that file again, just to double check that. Non-hack, there we go. Okay, let's try again. This code is everything's being a bit slow. Please open a note first. Okay, so that is how it differentiates. But I don't know if I really want to go back through proving or disproving what just happened there to see if, the renderer got confused. But let's see. So let's try that again. We'll open this one. Actually, this has no. We want this one actually. It has no custom syntax. So let's open this one. There's a whole bunch of custom syntax. I also wonder if it offers any language support. If like this, for example, if I started typing, what would happen? Oh, cannot edit in read-only editor. Interesting. That's come back to that. Okay. All right. Let's preview. Yeah, now we get the expected preview. What does that mean? That's interesting. Let's take. I'm really mostly interested in this UML here. Oh, the mermaid wasn't in here, but let's just take that. Can we create a new note from here? We should be. Oops, what am I doing? We should be able to. Create a new note from editor. Should be like in editor, really. No new note established. Okay. Not quite sure what that means. Can we not create a note from editor? From editor content. Okay, that's slightly confusing, but means we can now find this non-hack file from a minute ago. Okay. And I guess slightly, I suppose it makes sense. So at the moment, this is not a HackMD file, and we'd say new note from editor. So now it is. And I guess new note established. Yeah. I'm guessing that is now also on the browser end. Yep. There we go. I wonder how quickly if changes sync automatically. Let's see. Obviously, this gets slightly confusing knowing which one I'm actually changing. But okay. I don't know how automatic this is. Do we have to refresh maybe? I don't know. Not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to tell. especially because they've all got the same name. Doesn't help. Is it like another client, basically? There's a lot of slightly badly translated stuff here as well. Quite sure where it went. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of slightly peculiar behavior. I mean, it's powerful, it's interesting, but it's a little bit flaky in places. I think up until the VS Code thing, things work fairly smoothly, but right now I'm not quite sure. Maybe we can be more explicit and just change the title to that, and then it's easier to find, maybe. It's not completely collaborative between the two, is what I was sort of hoping. There it is. Okay. Now we know which one's which. So what I'm trying to figure out, obviously the changes are going to be both by me, but if I make a change, do we see it? This is what, no, you cannot edit in read-only editor. That seems not so useful then, really, unless missing something. That seems less useful. Well, here we go. Let's see. Well, conclusive. Okay, all right. We're running a bit long. I think it's time to wrap up anyway. So let's just switch back whilst I clean up to summarize. Let's see. Okay. So, HackMD. You caught a preview of my script a couple of times. Let's wrap up and see what we think. What is it? HackMD, collaborative Markdown, sort of, with a few oddities here and there, but mostly true. Where can you find more? HackMD.io. It's worth having a look at. I'm just trying to. Sometimes when you're logged into services and you actually just want to get to the home page as opposed to. Let's go back. There we go. I don't actually want to show you. Is the web page. So there is pricing. What? So free, you get quite a lot. 3 private teams, 3 invites to private notes. What do you get? Profile, team member permission control, note access control, invite external users, private and stable image storage. And it's relatively cheap, I suppose, compared to a lot of these sorts of services. It's pretty easy to get started. It mostly works. It's a little fiddly in places. Things are a little bit all over the place. It feels like an open source project, but I don't think it is, although there's a lot of open source components, of course, some from HackMD and some from other sources. And it's very popular. I mean, it's weird. I suppose you can, where the content is hosted. I mean, you can self-host, of course, but it's still being hosted in a cloud provider. So it's not massively different from Google, apart from it just not being Google. The VS Code extension is a little fiddly, a little confusing. It would be nice if that sync was kind of more spontaneous, so basically the same as just editing in the browser window. But actually a lot of those features, especially with the renderers of the special flavors of Markdown, were really, really interesting. That alone to me is something that might be worth experimenting with, and some of those very quick ways of kind of creating like a static site very easily is actually very appealing. So, I mean, for free, if you're using it for free, then definitely worth it for some of those periods where you want to collaborate on Markdown with someone who is not familiar with GitHub and Git and that kind of process, which happens quite a lot in my work, actually. So I will continue to use it. It was good experimenting to realize some of the features I'd kind of forgotten about or didn't know about. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Say hi, leave a comment, leave a thought below if you've tried it and what you think. I'd like to hear from maybe people who aren't in kind of the same field and world as me. So let me know. And I'm Christian Schiller. As you can see, you can find more about my streams and other videos at christianschiller.com and also on YouTube and Twitch. Say hi, subscribe, And I'll be back next week with, I haven't actually decided what I'm going to be doing yet, but I'll be back on Wednesday next week. Keep an eye on the schedule, and I will schedule something very soon. And until then, thank you very much for joining me. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all again soon. And I look